What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you another one, and this is the finale for True Detective Night Country. I think we got a lot of questions answered, but some still remain open. We're going to go through all of them in this video. And thank you for the people who got me there to 500 likes on the last video. The YouTube algorithm responded, and it was my best video of this whole series. So hopefully we can do the same and hit 500 likes on this video so we can get similar results. Let's start with the ending and then we'll take it from there. So at the end of this, we see Navarro. First, we see her walk out into the snow, just like her sister did, onto the ice, right? And it's suggested that maybe she went out there and she went underneath the water, just like her sister went underneath the water, and that was her fate, that she had this disease. It was a curse. It was passed down from her mother to her sister, and now her, and that's what's going on. But besides that, after we do see that scene, we do see Navarro with Danvers in some type of cottage that has a warm atmosphere, so it doesn't seem to be Alaska, and she's out on the porch with her. Now, it doesn't show them directly interacting with each other, so the question then remains, did she survive or did she die? The person who made this show came out specifically and said that it's supposed to be open-ended. It's supposed to be of ink blot. It's supposed to be that whatever you want it to be is what it is. There is no definitive answer to this. I think she got her inspiration from The Sopranos, and that was a classic ending, and I think she did her own twist to that Sopranos ending. But The Sopranos ending itself was crystal clear what happened. This is not exactly clear. This is really up to you. What you want to happen is what happened here at the end. That's what she set up. That's what she wanted. So there's no one who can actually tell you how the ending ended. If you wanted Navarro to survive and be out there with her, then that's what happened. If you wanted Navarro to die and go out into the ice, then that's what happened. Was that ending satisfying to you? Let me know in the comments. Would you have liked a more definitive ending and answer, or do you like the way that this director played it, where you can fill in the blank, basically providing the story for yourself and say, hey, this is how I wanted it to end, so this is how it ended. We also get the final act of who actually killed the people and who the killer was. Now, I had said that it was going to be a zombie, and I was 100% wrong. But it wasn't just me that was wrong. It was the person who came with the theory that Navarro had split personality. They were wrong too. In fact, I think everybody was wrong. It was a group of Alaskan women who found out exactly what happened to Annie and went there to do the revenge act against these scientists for killing her. I guess Annie was there and she discovered all the scientists' work, and the scientists were polluting the population to make their work go faster. Annie figured this out and destroyed all of their work. In a rage, the scientists then began to stab her and kill her for all the years of work that they put into it. And then these women who were cleaning up the spot found the hole because the water seeped through, and once they found this hole, that's when they decided to take action, and action they did take, because they went in there with guns drawn and grabbed up all these men. And after they grabbed them all up, the one dude was able to survive by going into the thing and holding it down so that they couldn't get to him, put them in the truck, drove them out to the ice, then forced them to strip. After they stripped, they ran out there into the ice, where they froze to death. And they said if they would have been able to come back and make it back, then they would have been able to put their clothes on. I told you from the beginning that most times when you deal with shows like this, the killer is revealed in the first episode. And that's exactly what happened. All these killers were revealed in the first episode. If you go back and look, you will see that they knew what was going on and they did expose them. So I'm glad that it ended the way it did. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be 100% on everything when it all comes down to it. The fact that they fooled me makes it an even better show for me, said and done. But one thing I did get right was that Navarro shot that dude in the head and killed him. I said that she killed him, and that is why she went away and became a state trooper, and that's exactly what happened. A lot of people tried to tell me it was Danvers that did it because he was playing the song, but I didn't see Danvers doing it. I knew Navarro did do that, and that's exactly what happened. So I did get at least one thing right. Some of the things that just didn't work for me in this episode was that they didn't fill in all of the blanks for me. That you didn't talk about why all these dead people were always pointing at Navarro. You didn't put it out there like why she kept seeing these dead people and why they kept pointing at her. What was the significance of all these dead people pointing at her? They did not explain that, and I wish they would have explained that. So for that reason right there, I did not appreciate that ending of it right there. I think they should have wrapped that up, put a bow around that. Now, we did see that Navarro, I guess, had some type of sixth sense that she could see dead people, but not only could she see dead people, she could speak to dead people, because she told Danvers straight up that she spoke to her son and that her son said that he sees her. And in the beginning, after she came out of the water and they held her there, as she was about to die, she didn't believe it, but then when she was about to die, she said, "What did he say?" And he said that she sees him. And so I don't know how to take that. Does she have some type of sixth sense? Is she able to speak to dead people and see dead people? Is that what's going on with Navarro? They weren't crystal clear with that. So for that reason, I wish they would have done a little bit more. When dealing with the Hank situation, we see that it had to be Hank that cut the tongue out when he moved the body for a message. But I don't think it truly explained how the tongue got there in the first place and they were able to find it and how it was kept in such pristine conditions. And we see that his son is going to have to deal with the fact that he shot and killed his dad. And the lady with him tells him that, hey, you may think that the worst part is over, but the worst part is living with it day after day after day after day. And that is what he's going to have to do, because in the end, even though his dad was his asshole, it was still his dad. And in the end, he is responsible for killing his own father. And not only killing his father, taking the body, discarding the body, and getting rid of the body. Now, in all honesty, even though his dad was an asshole, I do think that if his dad could speak and the things happened the way it would, he would have wanted his son to get rid of his body and dispose of his body and not get in trouble for his death, because he knew that he was wrong and everything that he did was just driven by greed. And in the end, I didn't feel bad that he got catfished. He got exactly what he deserved. But the tongue itself was never explained how it got there. Maybe I missed it. So if you figured out exactly why the tongue was preserved and put there and they found it, let me know in the comment section. Did he just have it in his pocket and dropped it? But it was there. I don't know. They never also explained the her situation, like the monster saying her and she's here or something like that they were saying. They didn't explain why that phrase was so important. Who was the she's here? Who was the person who did that? And why did that keep popping up? Again, I didn't appreciate the way they left a lot of things open-ended like that. I wish they would have explained away a lot of those things, but hey, it's their show and they have the right to do what they want. In this season, it seemed like they tried to connect season 1 to this series, but in the end, it did not really work for me. Was there any more connection from the Tuttle? I don't think so. Anything more than they were just the people who funded this research project, but besides that, there was no connection from season 1 to it. I know that they built up this whole spiral thing, but in the end, they truly didn't explain what the heck was going on with the spirals and why everyone was so obsessed with this spiral. They didn't show anything that made you believe that, hey, this is the reason and this is what the spiral meant. So I didn't like the way they did that. what did, again, that she's awake? What did that mean? I just don't understand why they brought that up over and over again in every episode, but they truly didn't explain what that meant. And what really killed the scientists. They never explained that. We know that the scientists died from being out there, but the veterinarian said specifically that it wasn't the cold that killed them. So what killed the scientists when they were out there if it wasn't the cold? They never explained that situation. We then see them catch Clark, and while they got Clark captured, Navarro frees him. But they don't explain why she exactly freed him. I don't know why she freed him. They didn't explain why that happened. That's another mystery that they should have actually wrapped up or talked about a little bit, why he was actually let go. And why did Liz sometimes see ghosts? Was she affected by the same thing Navarro had? We know Navarro had a family history of breaking down psychologically. But why did then Liz see these ghosts sometimes? What was going on with that? We also get Navarro, and I think that the story was focused around her and her journey. That's what they said. We get Navarro told her real name, her real ancestral name. But we don't know who told it to her. Who was the person's voice that we heard telling her this name? Was it her mother? Was it her sister? We don't know why that actually happened, and we don't know what is the drawing power that makes her want to go out on the ice, that made her sister want to go out on the ice. It never fleshed that out exactly. In this series, we dealt with a lot of ghosts, especially from the first episode, but they never explained exactly why everybody is seeing these ghosts. What is it? Is it something in the water? Was it pollution that made people see the ghosts? We don't fully know. And we look at Clark's story, that didn't match up anything. He said that he thought that it was the ghost of Annie that came back, but clearly you see these women, they busted in with guns, a whole mob of them. He had to see them, and he had to know what was going on, so there's no way for him to think that it was the ghost of Annie. There are a lot of questions that were left unopened, and I don't know exactly what they mean. Like Navarro's visions, I can't tell you what they meant, because to me it just wasn't put the icing on the cake, and it wasn't fully explained. Maybe you like an open-ended show like that, and if you do, put it in the comment section. But if these are some of the questions that you have asked yourself, why these things happen, put that in the comment section too. Do you think them leaving it open-ended like that hurt the show's finale, or would it have been better if they sealed everything with a bow and wrapped it tight, and this is what it is? But you tell me in the end what you feel. This is the end of Night Country. We'll be moving on to the next show, so hopefully you subscribe. Again, click that bell, because the next show is starting this Wednesday. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and again, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.